Welcome to Co-op Mode, round 166. This is the official video game podcast of Secret Friends Unite. And this is going to be a fun episode because we are on the verge of Video Game Christmas, a new system launch, and it's going to be a fun one. And we are joined by my favorite Canardian, along with other Canardians that live along you, but you're the first Canardian in my heart. That is Mr. Mark Canardian Carabin. How you doing, bud?
I am great. I had a very busy con weekend, so feeling a little of that like after con crash. No con crud, just a little tired, but otherwise fantastic, and can't wait to chat about the stuff we're going to chat about later.
Yeah, and congratulations on catching your newest Pokemon. So
thank you.
You got added Ray to the family.
We did. She just went to sleep somewhere. I don't know but glad that you got to see her. That's more than Charlie did last week, and she was like brand new in the house last week when Charlie and I recorded. So you're one up on Charlie. Got to see Ray, our new cat, and I am very surprised. So Finn got to name her because his birthday's this week, and the cat was like part of his birthday present. And I am genuinely shocked that he went with Ray instead of Sprigatito or some other cat Pokemon, because he's constantly making up. There's like a new Pokemon he made up hanging on my fridge over there that we ended up like he described and I kind of drew, and he's constantly making up Pokemon or like calling different things, different Pokemon. Like he'd grab this and like, hey, this is the Voltorb today. Okay, let's play Pokemon. And so like the fact that we got an actual creature in the house that he wasn't like, hey, it's Meowth, and he went with Ray instead, blowing my mind.
Love it. I love it. Cats are so much fun. Enjoy the fun. Get a little cat laser light. That is hours of fun.
Yeah, good call.
Hours of fun. They'll go ape shit.
Fishing rod dangly toy thing. She loves it. It's very entertaining.
No, get the laser light. Your hours of fun. Finn will just go nuts with it. Yeah. Don't let him like beam it at your eye and then you go blind. Yeah, that's not a thing. Yeah, or point at like planes. Planes have enough problems right now. Well, very cool.
Let's get on a flight, Todd.
Yeah, exactly. And you heard this voice. He is a new contender on the Co-op Mode couch. That is Chance. I will not destroy your last name, aka Bubble Boy N7 from the Nerd Chat. I believe you're the last one to show up on our show. So
yeah,
welcome.
Yeah, save the best for last, right? Isn't that how that goes?
Absolutely.
I think so. Yeah.
Yep. And Chance has been on our Waiver Wire podcast, though, our fantasy football podcast. So we're so glad to have you on Co-op Mode.
Thank you.
So Chance, before we get into the mix of the show, we always ask some questions to get to know you a little bit better. Perfect. So, Mark, you go first. Give Chance your first question.
First question. Okay, what do I want to ask Chance? I'm gonna throw kind of a new one. We've talked about like the first game you remember buying with your own money and that kind of stuff. I want to know what your first gaming memory is. Doesn't matter if it's something you bought yourself or something someone else. What's like your first ingrained in your skull gaming memory?
You know, that is a wonderful question because I thought I knew the answer. And then the second you said that, I'm like, oh gosh, no. So we had neighbors that were 2 doors down from us when I had to have been 4 or 5. And I can remember them playing Super Mario Brothers and being like, Mom and Dad, why don't we have one of these? And these neighbors, they have passed away years and years and years ago, like decades ago. They were probably in their 60s back then.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. And believe it or not, and again, that was knowledge that was dead to me 3 minutes ago. But that is absolutely, thank you. Wow.
That's great.
It's got me
not about the deaths, but great about your memory.
Time happens. That is absolutely the first one I can remember because I remember going home being like, we need one of these. We absolutely, the little guy jumping, I need to be all a part of that. So holy cow.
And so I'm going to follow that up with, did you get your wish, or how soon after do you remember getting that wish?
I couldn't tell you. Yes, we did eventually. I couldn't tell you how soon after because we definitely did have an NES growing up. So I just turned 40. So like right around the era. I missed Atari, but NES was definitely the first one we had in the family. So
I'm in the exact same boat. Yeah.
yeah, awesome. Awesome. Wow, that man. So big ups to Bill and Jeannie Gwynn up there. That
Thinking
is
about you.
fun.
They're
Yeah.
playing Super Mario Brothers in heaven as we
Heck yeah,
speak.
they are.
Well, maybe they got a new console up there. I hope they do. Yeah, we'll see. By the way, if you've not seen 8-Bit Christmas, it's really good. Great movie
Okay.
about a kid trying to get he's trying to get a Nintendo as a kid for Christmas. He's thinking back about it. It's a really, really nice. Neil Patrick Harris is in it. It's really,
Oh,
really
cool.
good.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely see it. If you are nostalgic at all about the NES, it's all about a kid trying to get an NES
Oh,
for
of course.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. Yep. Okay, my question is, have you ever gone to a midnight launch? And if yes, what was it?
Yes. This is gonna sound sad because I will say the most recent was for the Xbox One. Daniel and I went to the midnight release of the Xbox One. We got some pretty cool swag from it. To over at Park Meadows, which is like the bougie mall in Denver or outside of Denver. That was the last one. I'm trying to think before that. Gosh, it had to have been Halo 2. I did. Um, gosh, and that might be it actually.
Well, like
Honestly, that could be it.
they've kind of like, until the Switch 2, I don't recall locally anyway there being like midnight launches or like that
Well, we
being celebrated
couldn't
or
because of
touted
COVID,
as a
right?
thing. Yeah.
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 So like Xbox One may have been like one of the last that
Yeah.
big blowout kind of like come down for a midnight launch.
Feels
Yeah.
forever.
And
I mean, it was
everybody,
forever
It's
ago,
wild.
but
yeah, now everybody just orders theirs and it just shows up to your house.
yep.
So now
And
it's
it's
like, yeah.
of course it's the worst Xbox console too. And so I'm like, well, of course it's the
Aw.
one I
I
jinxed.
mean, think of all those great Connect memories.
Hey, you want to know? I know that wasn't your question, but I'll answer it anyway. My favorite Connect memory is every time I had that thing on because we had it in our bedroom at the time. My wife
Oh
would come,
no.
is that thing on? Can they see me naked? I was just like, I don't know.
My
Now-
streaming numbers just went up.
Yeah.
If that was nowadays, like Xbox Connect cover would be like
Oh.
number one thing on Thingiverse to 3D
Oh yeah,
print.
yeah.
Like
Oh,
it'd
yeah.
just be like, little caps and stuff. Cause
Yep.
yeah, it's just, that privacy concern.
Hilarious.
Yeah, I don't think I'm ever going to come up with a question. What's your favorite Connect memory? Because I don't know. Maybe the Sesame Street game. All right, Mark. Any other questions for Chance?
No, I think we hit a couple of really good ones.
Yeah, man.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Very good. Very good. Yeah, I could ask what his favorite, football team is, but we don't have to talk about that. Yeah.
No, but I did look. So I had to. Okay, sorry, you brought it up.
Okay.
So
The
I have
Rockies.
my Rockies jersey on because we're making history this year, people.
Oh yeah, yeah. I heard about your history making
We're
experience.
breaking records. It's going to be awesome. We might be the first to do a lot of things. My hope is we're the first to get relegated. I'd love to see that system.
Do you have some good farming teams around there or AAA teams?
Oh, absolutely not. We used to.
Okay.
I'm just saying they don't deserve to have a major league
Okay.
baseball team. The Monforts are the worst owners in all of sports. And let's talk games.
You know what? I really wish like relegation was a thing in more sports
Yes.
because I feel like there are some AAA teams, even hockey, and even like USFL teams now.
Why not?
Come on, let's go. Let's
Right.
go. Oh, well, very good. Yes, I can't wait to see the Rockies do what the Lions did. Unfortunately, I won a game, so we'll see how it happens. So with that chance, we're going to get into a lot of things this episode, but we have a very interesting episode ahead of us because we're going to ask some strange questions and making some weird predictions. But with that, Mark, we got to pay the bills and we got to thank some awesome people.
Absolutely. We have to thank all the amazing people that support us over at patreon.com/secretfriendsunite. You can join these people for a week for free, and then your first month is 50% off. You can join for as little as $2 a month and get some exclusive shows, no ads, Discord benefits, all that stuff. Again, as little as $2 a month, $1 for your first month. Crazy. And try it out for a week for free. You can join the amazing people on this list, including our besties tier, Derek Trevelyan, aka the Figure Dude, Francie, Xbox Expansion Pass, and Charlie's Uncle Tim. Friends with Benefits tier, we have John Sidorf, Brendan Myers, Corey in HD, Matthew Keel, Kurt Krug, Tanya Lee, Chipotle Bear, Famous Seamus, who I ran into several times this past weekend, and it was amazing as usual seeing that man.
Did he have his amazing bag of holding for all his swag?
Yeah, he definitely did. I asked him a couple of times, and he actually there's a message waiting for me on Discord of all of the things that he bought. And it was 3 pictures, and I know he also has some digital commissions and stuff. So he is an absolute madman when it comes to supporting artists at cons. Just crazy amounts of respect for the amount of artists and podcasts and creators that Famous Seamus supports. It's always appreciated, and I love being able to see him in person any chance that I can. Also on this list, sorry to single you out, Seamus, Cam the Movie Man, Jane Newport 007, who we're going to come back to in a second, and Brian Osserman, aka Prozac Man, aka Darth Prozac. And last but not least, the Secret Friends Super Squad, who support this show like nobody else, Sean, Stella, and Henry Nias. You are all absolutely amazing. Now, I did say we were going to go back to J Newport 007. That is because we have to provide a power-up for J Newport 007. I've got some things percolating. What kind of power-ups are you thinking, Todd?
Oh boy. So, typically we try to, if we don't know much about someone, we try to use their name as a judgment. Although Charlie went into Newport Cigarettes on Secret Friends Unite, and I don't know why. But you know what? I am going to think about the 007 part. And I think Jay is an international man of mystery. And with that, I am giving him basically an amazing power up where he will have always have seemingly normal like devices, like a wallet or something like that, but they always have a weird like secondary capability. It's like a wallet. It's got like it's got like a credit card that becomes like a switchblade maybe, or a throwing star. If he's got a ring, on the back, if he turns it around, it does something cool. So it's like one off though. It's like once, it doesn't happen all the time. Maybe it's this for this, but that's in real life and in a video game. He basically, he gets some secondary ability with ordinary items like James Bond.
Okay. I like it. That's a pretty badass power. And it was what I was going to pick. I was going to go with like the gadget watch and the fun gadgets from 007 stuff, IRL. So thank you. I'm going to scramble to pick another one. Mr. Bubble Boy.
Yeah.
What you got on the mind? What do you think of a good power up?
I mean, it's hard not to relate it to cigarettes. I think like it just feels like it's got to be something there. So how about hit this cigarettes that when you smoke them, you get healthier. That's never gonna be a thing. That never.
What was in Metal Gear Solid? What happened when Snake smoked a cigarette? Did it make him killed your health or something?
Health got better or something.
But yeah.
So you can cure disease with a puff of the old cancer stick.
So that is somebody's health. It's like old grumpy old dude. It's liquor makes him stronger, and cigarettes make him healthier. Increases stamina.
Hair of the dog kind of.
That's right.
Yeah, I like that reverseness.
I like that too.
Okay, I'm going to choose. I'm gonna stick with the 007 stuff as well, and I'm gonna go pretty simple with this one. It's the ability to slow motion walk away from explosions without getting injured.
Oh, okay.
That's a very, just seems like a very James Bond style thing, whether it's in real life or in video games. If there's an explosion, you're always kind of nervous because you don't know how explosions are going to work in video games. It's like sometimes there's no friendly fire and you can explode and stand in the middle of it. And you're just like, this is fine because I planted it. And other times it's like, my head used to be here and now it's over there. Shoot. Doesn't matter for J Newport 007 anymore. They can always slow motion walk away from explosions without getting injured.
Nice.
So as long as he's turning around, as long as he's turned around, he's okay.
It automatically, if he will be injured by an explosion in a game, it automatically goes to a cutscene. And in real life, yes, he'd just be compelled by some force of nature to turn around, like, I think I should turn around now, and then the explosion just happens behind him. Slow motion. It waits for him to turn around. This is some godlike precognition powers, but it's only used for this one specific instance. That, I mean, hopefully this is a person that's not regularly around explosions. And I also don't want this to trigger some sort of arsonistic tendency where J Newport 007 goes around lighting things on fire to make them explode to be able to walk away. So you need to use this for good. But as long as it's not being used for nefarious purposes, absolutely safe, slow motion walk away. Yeah.
So kids, don't use either of Mark's or Chance's powers up in real life.
Mine's really important. It makes you healthy.
If you find your dad's cigarettes, if you're feeling under the weather, take a couple puffs.
Yeah.
Guess it would be vaping now. I don't know. Oh, well. Well, if you appreciate this awesome power up, you could get one too by becoming a new Patreon member. So you know what, folks? I don't know why you're waiting. It just begs to be done.
Yep, absolutely. And that's not the only thing you get. You get different shenanigan things over on all the different shows. So you got to listen to them all to collect them all, like some sort of useless power Pokemon game.
Exactly. Yes. Or you get a what do you do in Holocron with them, Mark? What do they get?
Star Wars species and occupation. Which has been super weird because I think last time we landed on a Wookiee who runs a restaurant, and thinking of the logistics of full body hairnets was just why. But anyway, yeah, it's shenanigans.
Speaking of Star Wars, can I cross some streams and ask you guys a question? This is very serious. Sure. We're going to Disney World this next week, and I am considering
Mark was just there.
Selling. Oh, we got to talk about it. Where'd you stay?
Saratoga Springs.
Oh, nice. All right. That one we've gone to and like hung out there, but never stayed there.
Where are you staying?
We're splitting it so that we can get two of the
water park days.
The water park days, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So we're staying at Coronado Springs first, and then Art of Animation, and we'll go to all the parks that don't connect to the gondola thing.
Yeah. The gondola
at Coronado Springs, and then when we go to the Art of Animation, all the gondola stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
We stayed at Pop Century the last time we went, 2019, and they were just test driving the gondola and wouldn't let us on. And so this time I was like, we need to take this somewhere. So I made it built into the plan to go from was it Epcot to or the other way, Hollywood Studios to Epcot, taking you through and kind of going for the little tour that way.
Yep. Game changer.
Super cool mode of transportation.
Because those buses, sometimes.
Yeah, they can't.
But so I am debating selling the old Xbox because I literally have no use for it outside of possibly Grand Theft Auto 6 to do the Star Wars build your own lightsaber thing.
That's the man.
And
mine's right there.
Is that it?
Oh, Mark, you have no force powers to grant. Oh, you can't even use its real force powers.
Yeah, he doesn't want to show off.
That's true.
Yeah, I can't. So this is mine. This one's no longer buildable. This was.
I noticed that because it has like the bone on the bottom, right?
Yeah. This was the original elemental nature. All of the original ones have changed.
Yes.
Okay. So
I've been doing some
my
research, so tell me.
answer fully depends on what you want to do with the lightsaber, because it is one of the coolest experiences I've ever done. It's
Really?
interactive theater.
Yeah.
You feel like you're in Star Wars. I still swear to this day that there were some, because they get you to close your eyes. I don't want to give away too much, but they get you to close your eyes and think of a color, and you can guess where that
Sure.
leads.
Sure.
And I swear to this day that someone shined a green light in my eyes, and my wife was in there with me recording some of it and was like, it was pitch black, dude. I don't know, you're hallucinating. So the green kyber crystal called to me.
Yeah.
But the pieces are all metal, like it's a solid saber. Also means it's very heavy. And they're kind of thick. So if you're like me and you like spinning lightsabers and you want to be able to beat it off of things, get a cheaper saber that's like RGB or something like that. Cause like I have a couple of other sabers that I can spin around, I can throw around, I can beat the shit out of trees with.
Yeah.
Or duel with, you know what I mean? Like I have a couple of them. So my son and I can just kind of whack at each other.
Yeah.
And that's not this. There's like electronics that you can really mess up in this.
Okay.
But as a showpiece,
which is what I'm looking for.
It's I think it's
looking at whacking at things or whacking things.
Yeah.
I laughed very many times when you said beat it and whack, Mark. I got
to throw something in there for you, Todd.
Sure.
So, okay. All right.
One of the coolest damn experiences for a Star Wars fan.
Well, and that's what my wife was. She's like, well, I get it. Because she has been like, absolutely not. But she's like, I mean, if you can come up with the money. And I'm like, well, this thing's over here gathering dust. And my oldest daughter, who's turning 9, she's really into Star Wars. And I just know she would love it.
Mm-hmm.
And that, how long does
you would each get one?
No.
Chance, would you each get one? No? Just for her?
The experience is about, I think, 15 minutes or so.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's pretty efficient and effective. You know what I mean? Like but it doesn't feel rushed. At no point in the build was I like scrambling, like, oh God, what part am I going to pick?
Okay.
That's good to know, because
I've looked at them and I'm like, man, I want to see them and feel them too, though. Before, it's one thing to just look at it on a TV, but I got to see it. If
it's still running the same way. Now, this is, again, going back to 2019 when I built this one. But if it's still running the same way, you are able to touch the pieces beforehand outside before you even go in. They have like trays full of them. And then you go in with like your little pin, because that's when you get outside is when you get to pick which type you're building.
Yeah.
So super cool experience. Todd's eyes are going to glass over, so we can talk about this after.
I think this is cool. I have not been able to do the Star Wars stuff.
It's video game.
I really want to do it.
It is very neat. It's part of the experience, part of like a unique saber that's just yours.
Yeah. Good to know. All right, see?
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the elemental nature stuff that's there now, but that just means that if I were to build another one, I'd pick a whole other type of build.
Yeah.
Because there's like the Sith looking ones, which is what my brother built.
That one, and that is not usually my style, but is so cool looking. Yeah. The builds you can do with it.
The Sith style, when paired with a different color crystal other than red, can have a very like unique Jedi look.
Sure.
And that's what my brother did. And it's like, ooh, if that's a Jedi build, like that is a Quinlan Voss style, like rebel Jedi. And like just like the headcanon backstory to this saber and what type of person would build it. And so like mine, like picking the wood and stuff was like, I loved Gunji's saber. And that's what I picked up the last time, which is in that display box right there.
Cool.
Is the Gunji replica saber. So if you want to save some money, there are replica sabers there, but building your own is a far better.
Yeah, I figure if I'm going to spend 150, I might as well spend 225 and get the full thing, you know.
Experience.
Yeah, dude, the experience is really, really cool.
Cool. Well, thank you. Thanks for letting me sidetrack the show and be late and all those things.
Phil Spencer would allow you to sell it for that memory.
We've got to get you on Holocron. We can geek out about this stuff when we get back. Yeah, keep in touch.
Absolutely.
be fun.
Well, very good. Glad we had that little segue. So those of you who are still listening for more video games, we're going to get into that very quickly. But before we do that, we are going to have a video game centric segment, which is buy, rent, and return. And because we are at the end of the life of the Switch, I decided let's talk about like the last first party game that was going to be on a system where you could not play it on another system. It was kind of like the old days when you got to play those games because the new system's not going to play it, won't be available. So you have to make it count. And sometimes the last game was either a banger or a slanger, I guess is the opposite of a banger. So with that, I'm already getting crap for my rules, which was could not be backwards compatible or cross-gen, meaning if it was playable day one on the next on the next gen, then it didn't count. Because essentially then that game is not kind of its swan song. You're getting a better version probably on the next box. So it kind of feels like a cheat, like Breath of the Wild on the Wii U versus Switch, right? I mean, yes, it was its official last game, but how many people kept their Wii U just to play it there? Nobody. So that was now if a game shows up a couple years later as a port or something like that, I'm fine with that. So, and I know Mark is going to kill me. So the games I picked, The Last of Us on PS3. I know, yes, this game has been remade many times, but did not get on the PS4 until almost a year later, where they actually had to make a game. They added the extra content in for that release too, which did not occur on the original Last of Us. So it actually was a different version, quite honestly, with more content. So State of Decay on Xbox 360. I thought this was on Xbox One day one. It wasn't, because Xbox One did not have backwards compatibility at day one. So a release did get dropped about
Year
15 months
edition or something. What was that one?
Well, I can't remember. It was
Xbox
15 months
One.
after the Xbox One launched. So it was quite a while after.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, and that was on the 360. It was really hard to find, but yeah, it was like one of the last releases. It was right around, I think it was 2013 when it dropped. And then Paper Mario Color Splash on the Wii U. Yes, this was the last game that dropped before Breath of the Wild. Once again, did not count because that game was on both systems right away on launch. And actually, wasn't the Wii U was delayed a month after too?
You're asking the wrong guy.
Was it day and date or not? I can't remember. I thought it was like delayed.
I can't remember.
Yeah. Okay. So with that, those are the three games, and we're gonna start with Chance. So buy, rent, and return. So this is like Mary Boff Kill. You got to make some hard choices.
Yep. And unfortunately, I scrolled down a little bit and saw my compatriot Daddy D Wally's answer. I shouldn't say unfortunately. Do
you want to do that one first?
No.
Do we want to go to Dan's first?
No, because I have the exact same answer.
Okay, well then you do yours first, and we'll see Dan's copying you.
And exactly. I mean, I didn't scroll down. He's stealing my idea.
That's right.
Unfortunately, never owned a Wii U. I probably would have played Paper Mario Color Splash on the Wii U. I enjoyed really anything Mario. So that, though, because I never played it, gonna have to be a return. This one was hard, though. The buy and the rent between State of Decay and The Last of Us was kind of difficult because I think The Last of Us is a better game. However, the replayability on State of Decay, like Daddy D Wally said, is really what made me go with that for the buy and the rent for The Last of Us. I did play it once. I played it the first time, never played it again. Don't really intend to play it again. I just finished, was it last night, right? The season finale?
Yeah, season finale of season 2, yeah.
And am really enjoying that. We don't have to get into all my thoughts on The Last of Us because I have some pretty controversial thoughts on it, but
good.
That one really is just a rent for me because I've never really wanted to go back and play it again.
I did try playing it again, just with whatever the most beautifulest version was, because I was watching the show and I'm like, I only played it the one time, so I'm like, it's been 10 years or whatever since the game came out. So I'm like, I should just see how it compares. And I did. And I'm like, yep, they got it. I don't need to play anymore.
Nope. Yep. So that's my answer, which happens to be identical to Daddy D Wally.
Yeah.
All right. And I can say what that was. He said, buy State of Decay, great replay value. Rent The Last of Us, Joel is selfish, one and done game. Ask Dan what choice he would make about his children, then he would lie, because he also would not sacrifice his children for the greater good of man. And then Return Paper Mario didn't play, but I'm starting to think most Mario games play the same. And I'd say he's wrong, because this game is far different than a lot of other Mario games. This one was not and it's funny because I thought, well, so this never got ported to Switch. Probably a reason why it never got ported to Switch, along with Star Fox Zero and a few other games, I guess. There's not many left, but
Double
that's one of the
Dash.
few. Yeah. The Devil's Third. I mean, come on, that classic. No, that you don't want that game. I call it Devil's Turd because that's so great. But it's one of the most valuable Wii U games if you ever bought it.
Is it really?
You, like, kept it? Oh yeah. It's low print run. Yeah, it's way up there. Okay, Mark, what is your choice? And I don't want your spite. Your anger.
You're gonna get a tiny bit of spite because I'm going to return The Last of Us.
Ooh.
Because I think that your rules are bullshit. And I think...
we don't normally permaban people on the show, but it might be time.
When I think of a Swan song, I'm thinking of it's only available on that system. So I think there are better ways to play The Last of Us. And I think those, like, why would you bother worrying about the PS3 version? It may have been a Swan song at the time, but I think time changes that decision. So I'm leaving that and I'm playing the better version. State of Decay is getting a very similar answer, even though I think State of Decay probably should have earned the return spot here because it was instantly backwards compatible on an Xbox One. You could just put that disc in.
No, it was not.
You couldn't?
No, because remember, Xbox One did not launch with backwards compatibility until like 2 years later after they had the debacle.
Oh,
this did get a port 15 months later. That's why it didn't get the BS. So like playing fair rules.
And it was original Game Pass title too, wasn't it? I think it came out on Game Pass.
Yeah. Okay, so either way, that's still getting the rent. Because of some more replayability, but I think it's a similar kind of answer to The Last of Us and just getting a little bit of a bump up there. For like, is the newer version that much more definitive, or could this version still be kind of enjoyed? Which means that the Swan song that I'm buying would be the game that's only available on that system.
Okay.
And that is the only chance you have to play it. And also was built for the system at a time when a lot of the games were just ports of other consoles games, or just saying, you know what, we know no one likes the gamepad. We know no one likes touch controls and this and that and everything else. And we're getting ready to move on to the Switch. The fact that they stuck to their guns and released a game that was like specifically built for different methods of input that probably made it hard to port kind of makes me respect it more. Kind of makes me like, I've been playing a lot of like 3DS and DS games over the past few months, as I've talked about here a few times, and playing those systems kind of makes me appreciate the Wii U and how many games were ported over, but then really, really appreciates those games that haven't been, because of these kind of reasons of like, you just straight up can't do this shit on anything other than a Wii U. And Todd, we've talked about that before of like emulating it. What can the Switch 2 do? You've talked about like, maybe can you beam something to the dock and still have it in handheld because of games like this. So this is a true Swan song for me that you just straight up can't emulate or replicate anywhere else at the current time. So that's why Paper Mario Color Splash, even though it's definitely not my favorite game of the series, is getting a buy this time.
All right.
Yeah, it's an oddity that this happened, and it's kind of funny. It makes me think about like the last real game I played on the Wii U was Shantae, which is a great game, but you can play it everywhere. So that was my great experience at the end of that system. But
I have that whole series on my Switch. Yeah, that's definitely not something I'm considering.
But you know, what's the best way to play Mass Effect 2? The Wii U. Of course, it's the only Mass Effect game on the Wii U, which is just so odd. And then we get like that. I played Batman Arkham Origins, which I love that game. It was great on the Wii U. So there's sometimes
really
some good things. Yeah. Like we're going to see on the Switch too. We're going to see a lot of unique ports with unique Nintendo things added in to make gives us value. So, so very quickly for me, this is very easy. The Last of Us on PS3. I remember that was the last game I played in the PS3. It was, to me, it was like, hell, oh, this is crazy. Reminded me when God of War, what God of War was it? That was the last game on like PS2. Also great, you know, a great way to end it.
3 probably, right?
And, you know, eventually, you know, the PS3 ended backwards compatibility. So some of those games did get trapped on the PS2. But yeah, love The Last of Us. And once again, I did not touch that game on PS4. I eventually played it again on PS5. Just because I wanted to see how it compared, and you know, it was great. But like my memory is The Last of Us still looked amazing on PS3. So, and then State of Decay, I'm going to say Return. It's not because I have any ill will against the game. It's been a series I don't have any interest in, but I know it's got a big fan base. So, and I know a lot of people really got excited for this new IP on Xbox exclusive. So very cool. And I really didn't think they had a game on Xbox 360, to be honest. So that really surprised me. I'm like, oh, I didn't know this came out that time. And then lastly, Paper Mario Color Splash. I wanted to really like this game, but a lot of the Paper Mario and those like spin-off Mario games at this point, they just seem to lose their love, and they just added so many weird mechanics and things like Sticker Star, the game that never ended. And they said, well, you know what's great is cards. That means that you don't have a power up you can get. And Color Splash, I love the way it looked. It was really beautiful looking, but it just did not work. So, but yeah, definitely a game that I wish was a little bit better. And sadly, it didn't get another chance on the Switch. Maybe the Switch 2. You know, doesn't mean that when Switch 2 maybe has a low time of releases, then what didn't we port? Devil's Third coming to you. All right. Well, there we go. If you enjoyed this, great. If you didn't, you know what? Give us your buy, rent, return, and we'll do that. And you make up the rules, and I'll have to play by them. So, Mark, yeah. I mean, if you wanna do a spite Todd, go ahead. Next week is yours. Or Chance, if you want to also send it a request to, by all means, sure. I like that too. I did realize, Mark, last episode, I didn't include the questions that we had. So we ran out of time. So really quickly, I thought we'd hit these. So I'll hit Brian. He had his buy, rent, return, but I get to the bottom. Let's see. I'm trying to think where he asked about the future of console gaming. I think a PS exclusive is already alluded to PS exec has alluded to the fact that the future is the software. Nintendo will most certainly be the last one to give up on independent hardware and first-party software exclusivity. I'm not sure there's much else to be accomplished. Let's see. I think in 5-10 years, there will be very little first-party console exclusive titles, blah, blah, blah. And as far as health, this is about our topic about the future of games. So he made comments about it. And as far as health, maybe I missed some news, but I think consoles will stay around for as long as there is a market for budget entry into gaming, because a console is still going to be cheaper to obtain than a PC and arguably holds value better. I agree, except when you get into handheld PCs and then you get into the Steam Deck for $400, and then it's like, that is a console at that point, that cost.
And I've been thinking about this a lot as we lead up to the Switch 2, and I've been seeing a lot of like those YouTube videos that are like, here's why you should buy the Switch 2. Here's why you shouldn't buy the Switch 2. And you get all this kind of bullshit that are like, and everyone kind of, whatever way they go, the Steam Deck is always part of the conversation. And to me, I really, really question like how it can be part of the conversation when it hasn't sold anything. Like, it's sold in 3 years. It's like, if Nintendo released the Steam Deck, it would be the biggest flop Nintendo's ever had. I respect the hell out of the Steam Deck and what it's done. I've played my brother's. It's impressive. But like, what is that barrier for like a handheld PC gaming device becoming a runaway hit? Like, if the Steam Deck hasn't done it, like what's going to do it? What's going to break that? Because like, realistically, like on paper, the Steam Deck should have sold a lot better than it has. And like, I think they're happy with it, or seemingly, and the people who have it are. But like, I think the Switch is going to blow the Steam Deck's 3 or 4 year sales out of the water in the first fucking week. You know, like it's just, it's
Yeah.
it's crazy. So
Well, I was thinking about that, Mark, because it's like Steam Deck, considering Steam is just doing this to sell more software, right? Because they can sell it everywhere. This was a try. They're eating a lot of the cost. But I think one of the other things that's interesting too, no marketing whatsoever. And you can't buy a Steam Deck in store. So the fact that you have a device that, quite honestly, no one knows about unless you're into them, and then you can only buy it off of Steam's website. Yeah. It's really hard to compare it to Nintendo and the level of success, because if they put that out there, they had commercials, they advertised it, it would be probably doing a lot better. But once again, Steam is not a household name like Nintendo is. So Nintendo gets a lot, just there's a new Nintendo out, there's a new Mario, and they do that. Like, Steam has probably zero marketing dollars. It's on their website, and websites talk about it. And beyond that, you see nothing about that. Maybe Sony will talk about and there's no Steam. But I think, to your question, and Chance, by all means, I think when Xbox or Sony does this, because Xbox is going to have a branded Asus ROG.
Yep.
And it will have Xbox marketing behind it. That's the next best opportunity. Now, the question is it cheap, or will it be very expensive, like $800? Because then it's like, well, it's the most expensive thing, and it's still more expensive than a console. But if you get into that sweet spot with a $500 handheld, then it's fighting with the Switch, and it's for people that don't care about Nintendo games, which maybe there are that group. That's where I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And I think the Xbox One that's going to be through Asus, if it doesn't come in under the price of the Series X, I don't know who that's for, and I don't know how they can have it come in under that price, with all the tariffs and stuff that are going on. Because if they just increased all the prices of all their consoles, that there's no way this handheld is going to be immune from that. Is my understanding, and I have very limited understanding of how global economics work. But I can't imagine if they were sitting around saying, "Okay, we're going to sell this puppy for $450, no matter what, go." After this all happened, I can't imagine they're going to be able to just keep it at that.
A big part of that depends on where it would be manufactured. Like if it's in China, they're screwed. If it's in India or Taiwan or somewhere, they might be able to skirt under, and depending on how much Microsoft backing is into this and how much they're willing to lose on it, they could try to remain competitive. But like, blanket statement, I think it's going up 10% more than what they were expecting.
Has to, right? At the very least.
Do they want to eat 10%? Yes, it's a tough market to enter anything in. And we've already seen Nintendo come in with, hey, we're going to keep the price of the console, but all the accessories are going to go up, and like, we're going to, try, and they were very quick to say, like, that could also change. Like, this console might be like the pre-order price, and then everyone else who didn't pre-order is going to get a more expensive one.
Yep.
And we're a week away from launch or so. And we so far haven't had any price increases, but man, like there's daily threats on new things. Like, I saw one today that was like, Apple, like, if you just don't start making phones in the States, it's a 25% tariff. And it's like, well, shit, there's a $20 billion investment that should take 10 years and have a 4 times more expensive iPhone and train people who haven't been trained. And it's just like, when are you going to hit with this? Because like, the best case scenario, if Tim Cook said like, yep, we're going to do that right now, it would still, I would guess, take a minimum of like 5 years to make that happen, if it's even possible. And 10 years ago, they said it wasn't possible. So it's
making it is one thing. It's all the components, which they aren't making the components in the US either.
Everywhere.
So you're going to get the 20% tariff on that. And I was just looking right now, the ROG Ally Z1 is $650 on Best Buy right now. I don't know if that's post tariffs or not. I can't remember, but I know sometimes it'll go cheaper on a Best Buy. But I looked right now. This is very weird. So Xbox did raise its prices in the US with tariffs. Right now, it is, I believe, the original Xbox Series X right now is $600. But I'm looking at Best Buy. There's none available, so I don't know what that means.
Interesting.
And I know the 2 terabyte special edition was 700, but right now, yeah, I see the only options you can get with the Series X 1 terabyte is fair condition 569. So obviously that means they've already rose their price. So now it's a weird way. We're in a weird place, but I think Mark, you're absolutely right. Switch is not going to have any problem. I think their biggest problem is they're not going to be able to sell 5 to a household anymore. And that has been their biggest challenge, right? Because they've been able to sell 2 to 3 systems per household. Even you talked about, hey, we're going to probably be a 1 Switch 2 family. And my son is going to keep our Switch for just playing with his friends, and we can share games on that, which is good. With that, it'll have to be local Wi-Fi and do that stuff, but at least we can do that. So it's good. I wanted to jump on the next question really quick before we get into what we've been playing, because obviously we've been in this pretty long. We haven't even talked about like what we've been playing. So the Winter Gamer says, does it seem like Switch 2 at its beginning of launch seemed to be a console that's likely to be used to play mainly existing games, Breath of the Wild, Mario Party, whether it be because it will play better or because some prices of games are getting higher? So your old backwards compatible, a lot of you go back into the Switch library and hold off on $80 Mario Kart World.
I think they're doing it for all of the above reasons.
Yeah.
It's Nintendo, so they know they can print money. And they eventually had to get something out there that could run things, not necessarily like Cyberpunk, but some more next gen feeling type games. But everybody that I know that has one, which was all 3 of my co-hosts on the Nerd Chat, not a single one of them is necessarily excited about any of the brand new games.
One person is
outside of for Metroid, right? Is that what he's hoping to play?
That's not even a launch
I think he said anything. Yeah.
No, but I'm saying he's excited for it. He's not excited to play it like Mario Kart. I can't even remember what's the iteration they're on now.
World.
World Tour.
He wants to
Just
Bacon's excited. He's excited to play all of his backwards compatibility stuff.
Well, he likes cutting edge, so it makes sense. I mean, he realized there's value in having a better performance, so I think he's not wrong. And if you have the NSO, you can play Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom the best they've ever been. So that's a new thing for Nintendo.
Without achievements.
That
also have achievements.
So my entire excitement level for the Switch 2, like I am of course excited to play Mario Kart World, but I never finished Tears of the Kingdom, and I've been wanting to go back to that, but finding out the definitive edition or the upgrades or whatever are happening on Switch 2, I've been holding off. I just bought so Hogwarts Legacy. They did the whole thing about talking about the differences between, like, they could have just ported the Switch version, but they kind of started with the next gen version and, dumbed it down enough to work on the Switch 2. And then Hogwarts Legacy Switch went on sale, and then the upgrade pack was pretty cheap. So I ended up getting the Switch 2 version of Hogwarts Legacy for like $20 or something like that, or $25. It was ridiculously cheap. And so I'm looking forward to playing that, because I tried it on the Xbox, and like my wife played the hell out of it on Xbox, but it didn't keep my attention on there for whatever reason. But I think being able to like have something on TV and just kind of pick at it might get me to play more of that game.
Sure.
So I'm really looking forward to that. I've said it before, and I'll say it again here. Like, one of the things I'm really, really looking forward to again is Fortnite on the go, Fortnite in my hands. I used to play a ton on the Switch until, whatever it was, chapter something or other, when the graphics kind of took a jump and the Switch really, I felt, fell behind. I deleted it off my Switch. It's available on like phones again in the States, but hasn't hit Canada for whatever reason. So like,
really? Okay.
Switch 2 is going to be my default mobile version of Fortnite. And that's going to change the way I play that game, being able to, again, have something on TV and just kind of like pick along at those weekly challenges on Fortnite, or like check the eShop or whatever. It's going to be a cool, refreshed way that I think is going to make me excited for very specific games to revisit, that maybe I won't take that chunk if I have a 2-hour chunk once everyone's gone to bed and I want to sit down and play something that's like big and cinematic and I want it on the big screen. But there's going to be those games that like, I don't really care if it's on a tablet in front of me. I just need to be able to pay enough attention to pick at things. So I'm very excited for exactly this stuff.
I think for myself, very interested in the GameCube content coming. That is only going to be on Switch 2, which is very fun. There's some really great GameCube games, and I think the improvements they will be adding in will make it even better to play. And then the other thing, I'm excited for Donkey Kong. I mean, that is my game. So excited for that game. And then I will get in Kart, of course. But I think with Kart, it's the first Mario Kart I feel like, rather than just, oh, my son, I'll play a little bit and then I'll move off. The fact that this feels more like a platformer with goals and objectives versus just getting races, to me, that feels like they're finally reaching out and adding more of a goals and objectives beyond just racing well, which I'm not a good racer. So doing things, finding things, doing rail grinding and doing platform with the car. And like, that is my jam. I'm not a good racer, and that is not enough for me to keep engaged with the game. So that's mine.
I don't know how often you check, or if you check at all, the Nintendo Today app, but they showed off like a little video of one of those Mario Kart World challenges, and they look tough. It was like something stupid, like weave your way through the cows and make it to the finish line. And even in the video, they failed the challenge. So it's like, were they purposely screwing up? Like, to me, that's a weird marketing choice. So are they setting up the expectations like, you're going to try these and fail and have to do them over again? But like I don't know. It's a weird thing for Nintendo to show a failure, I think, in their marketing. Usually for trailers, quick videos, that kind of stuff, it's like, here's the start, here's the goal. Mario gets along fine. Nobody dies. Everything's great. Thumbs up, fireworks, join this fun celebration. This one, they're like, hey, you think this is going to be easy? You think you're just going to dodge, dip, dive, and dodge through these cows? Think again, sucker. You're going to fail this one. Try again. Like, it's a very different marketing kind of feel. So I think that game's going to be a challenge.
Mark, that was me playing it. Nintendo said, let's reach out to the worst player in the world.
Gotcha. Okay.
And they'll make other people feel better when they destroy you. Like, okay. You're welcome, Nintendo.
Yeah, perfect.
Well, very cool. Thanks for the question, guys. Sorry we didn't get these in the last episode. Just ran out of time. So we want more questions. We really love answering them. So now, though, we're going to finally talk about actually playing games, which takes us forever just to get there. Yeah. Why we do this? Why we play the games, as wherever Dan says.
We play to win the game.
Yes. So with that, Chance, are you winning while you play?
Always, of course, always winning. I am playing Clair Obscur Expedition 33, and I feel like I'm close to being done with Act 2.
Okay.
And jaw on the floor. Like, this game is absolutely blowing my mind in terms of going so far above and beyond what the expectations were. It's a joke, but it's not a joke. I call it Final Fantasy 33. So I am a huge Final Fantasy fan. 7 is the GOAT in my mind, and we can argue if we need to, but 7 is the GOAT. I have been pining for something like this since probably Final Fantasy 12, which I loved. The combat is not turn-based in 12. And really 10 was the last one to have this kind of turn-based stuff. It absolutely knocks it out of the park. What they've done. Have either of you guys played it yet?
Yeah, I am very early on.
Okay.
I'm probably right after your first companion.
Cool.
At the very beginning. So very early in the game. And then I look over to my right side. My son is playing Clair Obscur Expedition
As we
33.
speak.
He is ridiculous, and he said, "Dad, I put all of my abilities into power because what's the point?" And I'm like, "Yeah, because he's excellent at parrying and dodging, so he has no problem." He's like, "No defense. I don't need any defense. I'm
Sure.
just gonna dodge." And yeah, so that's his approach, and he loves it. He's all in. He's like, "Dad, you gotta play." I'm like, "I gotta play I gotta play a certain game I'm playing right now, and then I gotta play South of Midnight, and then I will give this one a try." Although also I have Assassin's Creed Shadows, which is sitting in my PlayStation 5 that has not been touched, but it's installed.
That's awesome.
So
I'm right there too. I did not expect I did sorry, I shouldn't say I didn't expect this. When we did the developer direct show on ours, I was like, this is the one that I think I'm gonna enjoy the most if it delivers the way I'm expecting it to deliver, between South Midnight, Doom, and Ninja Gaiden, and man, has it ever. It the feeling you get when you can parry and dodge appropriately is only rivaled possibly by something like Sekiro or Elden Ring. And it's so different that it's like gets its own category. It's kind of apples to oranges to me. If you had to compare them, it might even be better just because it's so satisfying. I just played an entire boss right before I got on, actually. That the entire thing had to be parried. You never got to have an offensive action. And if you just dodge, you're not doing anything. So the entire thing had to be parried. And that was frustrating. I mean, because you could get 3/4 of the way done and then mess up a few times and you're done and it's game over. So I'm it's incredible. I listen to the music on the way to work. I listen to the music at work. That's not normal for me. It's just so good in every way. So I'm also playing Assassin's Creed Syndicate right now. Literally just
Oh,
started
wow.
that today.
Throwback.
So if the two of you don't know, I'm doing
Chance, tell Mark what you're doing.
yeah, I am
because you
playing
bought a certain package of games.
Yes, back on the Steam spring. No, it couldn't have been spring sale. I think the winter sale, or one randomly in between. Bought every Assassin's Creed game on Steam,
Nice.
and I'm playing them back from the very beginning all the way through Shadows. And so I also
Love
have
it.
Shadows loaded here, just ready to go. But I still got a few before I get there. I've played all of them before.
Is that the last
anyway.
one? Is that the last one before, like, you get
Sorry.
into like Origins?
Syndicate? Yeah. So it's Syndicate, Origins,
Yeah.
Okay.
Odyssey, Valhalla, Mirage, Shadows. So,
What about Rogue?
Huh?
Is
That
Rogue
was
in the
back.
mix?
Rogue was a
That
couple
was back
ago.
with
Oh, okay.
Black Flag.
Yeah. So
What about the
I'm
other one
doing
that came out,
Or not
Mark?
Black Flag.
Liberation.
No,
No, what was the
Rogue
other one
back
that came out?
Was that Unity?
What was the smaller
Just
Assassin's
finished
Creed
Unity
game
this
that
morning.
came out?
Liberation.
No, it was
Mirage.
you played it. It was set in Persia. Was it Mirage? Is that the one?
Mirage, yeah. So Mirage is right before Shadows.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
I'm doing a rubric for it because we're all in education on our show, and
That's right.
I'm not a teacher. I'm a school counselor, but I do lots of teaching. So we have this rubric where I'm not grading them on like things like graphics, because those are pretty relative to the time. I'm grading them on things like the combat and the parkour and stuff, and it's interesting because some of the ones that I thought I was gonna love so much more, I was like, "Ooh, gosh, this is forgettable." And then others have been quite a bit of fun. So I'm not someone who's like, "Oh, the new ones are trash. They're so bad. They're not real Assassin's Creed." Assassin's Creed to me is good history, a little bit of wacky future stuff, and then a whole bunch of fighting. And I'm enjoying it. I started literally like basically the beginning of the year in 2025, and so it's almost June, and I lost count. What is this, number 9, 10? I don't even
Wow.
know. So
Does this journey include the Chronicles games or just the main
no,
lines?
sorry, it does not. Just the main lines. It did include Liberation, which I think is considered a mainline one,
Yep.
and all the DLC up to Origins. For some reason,
Perfect. Yeah.
when I bought this package, which was just like $115, it already had all of the DLC loaded into
Oh, that's cool.
everything up through the one I'm on right now. Yeah. So
That's great.
Well,
Yeah,
don't forget the Oculus Quest version game.
Dang it, Todd. Dang it.
It's a small investment.
If you can, I did enjoy the Chronicles games. Like they if you play one, you kind of get the idea. But like if
Sure.
you like that, like if you like side scrolling, like Prince of Persia style stuff,
Yeah.
like try to play one of those. Just since you're in the Assassin's Creed universe already, and
Yeah.
if you've skipped them, like I think a lot of people did.
I think I played the China one. Wasn't the first one?
I was going to say
China?
China's probably the one to do. So if you've played that, then you're probably good.
But back like day one release probably, and don't remember much about it. I remember thinking like, this is pretty cool though. Like,
yeah.
So it wouldn't fit for the rubric that I'm doing, because it's very specific to, like I said, like the controls and the parkour and the future elements and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I'm a Assassin's Creed fan, so.
And
what about
Russia
the Vita
might
game?
work more for like historical tie-ins and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think back to when I played that one too.
The Vita was Liberation.
Oh, okay.
Yes, yeah.
And that's been ported to PC?
Yep.
Okay.
And I had to, we were talking a little bit earlier, Todd, about just some of my struggles with changing to PC and my learning curve, and that's been part of it. I'm playing everything on my ROG Ally though, which is still PC. And man, remapping some of those buttons because they just didn't exist for some of them has been fun.
Yeah, the no R2s are R2 and R2.
Why? What
and
is
I
that?
had a Vita and I tried playing games and I'm like, they had devices you could buy that would like essentially act like fingers to do it. It was so dumb. I'm like, I'm out. I wanted to love the Vita, but I'm like, once that was not a thing, I'm like, and remote play, if you want to do remote play with that without, I'm like back. No.
I remember having such a great time remote playing Rocket League on my Vita and being like, this is the future. This is the way to play. This is exactly what I want. And then I fired up, I want to say Assassin's Creed Unity maybe, and couldn't do anything without those buttons. And it was just like, this is garbage and I hate it.
I tried doing Fallout 4 with it and it was like, no.
Yeah. Fun times.
Well, the journey is amazing. Enchants, unfortunately those newer, like, I mean, how are you replaying like the games you already played, like the more modern ones?
I had already played all of them.
But so you don't have to play those. Are you playing them again, or are you?
Absolutely, I'm playing them again.
Oh God, or because once you get to Valhalla, that was the only game you'll be paying for the rest of the year.
No, I know.
180 hours later.
Dude,
yes,
and I'm not trying to 1,000 out of 1,000 anything. I am not. I was one as soon as they came up with and not necessarily for the achievements, but just for my own achievements. I was one that I always wanted to get 100% sync on everything because I thought those were usually really well done. I am not doing that. I don't have time for that. I tried like after like Revelations, I was just like, I'm spending double the amount of time. I can usually get through one in about 20 hours now, 15 to 20 hours. If I'm trying 100% sync,
easy mode, acceptable sync level, golden path. Yeah.
Enjoy it for the game. Don't make the game play you.
I just bought the Ezio trilogy on Switch.
Nice.
Again, as something I'm just going to look forward, and they're not doing any upgrades or anything, but I'm just looking forward to playing that on.
It doesn't need upgrades.
Slightly bigger Switch 2.
Yeah.
Haven't even installed it. I bought it, canceled the download right away on my Switch. I'm waiting for Switch 2 to be released to play it on a slightly bigger screen. So
if you like Assassin's Creed games and you haven't played any of those since their original release, you will be happy. I'm sure of it.
Yeah. Oh, I love the series. Absolutely love it.
Very cool. Well, Mark, you and I have been playing the same game, so we'll probably just tag team this one. So Doom, The Dark Ages, rip, tear, in ye old Fantasyland. My son has already destroyed the game. He is back. He's obviously on college break for the summer, so that's what he's going to do. So I'm very happy for him, and he probably is mocking me because I'm not playing at the hardcore difficulty, whatever it is. So, Mark, how far are you in the game?
I just started this and then went into a very, very busy con weekend. So I'm a little bit past like the opening, like the first kind of like level, the first, there's a big battle on the beach, and then there's some cutscene stuff, and then there's a little bit extra that I've played after that. Um, so I'm very early scratching the surface in this game, but enough to play. I've played enough to be like, I need to play more, and I'm kind of itching to do that, and that's what I'll be doing the rest of this week.
Excellent. I don't want to get. I mean, I'm on chapter 7, so there's 22 chapters in this game, and the cool part about the game is it just keeps unlocking things. Like, you'll get more weapons. Like, I think I have one more weapon to get, and then the skill tree is pretty great. But for anybody who has not played Doom: The Dark Ages, basically this is between, I believe, Doom 20. I think it's from between the original game in 2016. I'm trying to remember. There is like chronology for this, that this is where it fits in between. And this is kind of cool because, you know, the Doomslayer has added some like He-Man accoutrement now. He's got like the fur and everything, very cool. And the storyline is not something I've been really up to date on. I didn't play Doom Eternal. I love 2016. I did play Doom Eternal a little bit, but what they've done now, it's essentially the angels versus the demons, and the angels are essentially not so great guys, but they're controlling the Doomslayer, and it's kind of neat to see him finally break through. He's a pawn, and you know, he obviously wants to kill demons and things like that. But Mark, you'll get more of the story. I think it's kind of cool. I know some people say it's not worth it, but I think it's good enough.
I've been loving the story because it's just so stupid. Like, you can't expect this to be a good story. Like, you can't, like, I'm not going in expecting, like, I'm not going to grade this, like, you know, like on the historical accuracy or and it's a Michael Bay movie with explosions, or like it's you know, like, it's just
Doom.
it's dumb fun. It's Doom. Like, I'm not watching Doom for the engaging like social commentary. I'm watching Doom to see some roided up jackass rip his way through some demons.
Yeah.
If they can have some sort of like bare semblance of an entertaining narrative stitching together punching demons in the face, then cool, great. And the scenes that I've seen so far have been intriguing, have been badass, have been pretty well acted. Like, the voice acting and stuff have been very moody, and I'm kind of interested to see where it goes, which I didn't expect at all.
No, and especially with you know, your main character doesn't say a word. I mean, he says nothing at all, kind of grunts, and everybody else is the one that's talking around him, which is very fun. You know, they do break up this game. Like in the past, like Doom 2016, they broke it up by like having a level that looked like you were in the original Doom, which is great. This one, they basically give you a rock'em sock'em robot, and then they give you basically a flying dragon. I think they are okay for what they are. They're not great. I mean, they're just fine little things to break up the palate cleansers, whatever. But it's when you get back into the combat, and it's interesting because the area I'm at currently feels like an open world, far more than I've ever had in a Doom game before, which is pretty cool. Because then it's like, I got to find this treasure, or I've got to go over here, and there's lots of little things to find. And when you find the little like collectible like Funko Pop guys, those are hilarious and they're so cute. And you just want to squeeze them. But yeah, it's fun. And some of my favorite weapons, it's got some really ridiculous weapons. Like one weapon, it uses skulls as ammo, and it just shreds the skull, and you're shooting shreds of skulls at demons. And
that's what Doom's supposed to be, right?
Yeah, and then the glory kills. I haven't been able to do a ton of glory kills, but you have to be. It's you have to get in there and do it just right, like you're jumping and then doing it. Where the animations are amazing, and it's really fun, and I'm digging this one far more than Eternal. So if you weren't big into like a lot of the traversal, and there is no skyhook, whatever we're calling it, the grappling hook, it's not in this. It's basically, it's just all about getting into the combat, going crazy, and having a good time. So I highly recommend anybody. It's on the fence. It's on Game Pass. It's on PlayStation. It's on everything but Switch, I think, right now. So maybe it'll be on Switch too.
not only did they not include the grapple in this, they like really make a point to be like, hey, if you want to get up a wall, if you want to get to the next level, just press A and we're just going to do that for you. You don't even need to hold like forward. You don't need to keep pressing A. There's nothing. It's just like climb this wall. Yeah, walk up to it and press A. We're not going to make you aim at anything. We just know you want to get back to punching dummies in the face and making them explode. Here's more of that. Like, it's just they know exactly what this game is and they know who it's for, and it's for me.
You feel Bubble Boy has a question.
Yeah.
Yes.
I forgot what that hand did, and then but I do have a question.
Okay, it's allowed. We'll allow it.
Do you guys think we will ever get a 2-month stretch with this many incredible games dropping on Game Pass ever again? I mean, could you even imagine half a year, 6 months, or an entire year with between the three I just mentioned, South of Midnight, Claire Obscure, and Doom? Are you kidding me?
Oh, don't forget Oblivion.
Oh my
Remaster
God,
just popped out of the blue.
Todd, of course,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
how
I
how can
mean,
anybody be against Game Pass? It is the absolute greatest value, not just in gaming, in entertainment. Tell me a
Yeah.
better value in entertainment. Netflix isn't as good as this. HBO Max isn't as good as this. You could argue Amazon Prime because it's a value add and you don't actually pay for
Plus,
it. You're just paying for Prime.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't know how it gets any better. And like
Yep.
some of my friends that are like just PlayStation people are, oh, I don't need Game Pass. That's stupid and that's killing developers. And I'm like, no, it is not. It is actually making developers more seen. Like I think of
It's giving them a
between
safety net and making them like putting them out there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
We are eating good.
Yeah.
I was going to say the only thing I wish Game Pass did, which they no longer offer, is if you don't care about cloud, you don't care about these other things, or you don't care, essentially there's no way to get, day one game and date unless you get all those other things with Game Pass Ultimate on
Sure.
console.
Yeah.
Now, PC is great, which when my GPU runs out, I'm just going to go with Game Pass on PC because there's no online in PC, so they can't charge you for it. And then you get day and date. I think you still get, maybe you don't get the EA anymore. But quite honestly, I just wish once they got rid of that.
I think you do.
You still do? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the biggest problem is now that with the different levels, and I heard they're going to bring out more levels of Game Pass, it's going to get more confusing to consumers because you've got core, standard, and GPU. I've heard they're finally going to bring out a streaming only platform, which makes sense because not everybody has a box. If you don't have a box, the only way you're playing is streaming. So it makes sense there's a way to do that. So maybe it's the same thing. You won't get day and date, but you get like the standard library for streaming. So that's my only challenge. But at this point, I always told Mark this, I said, once they are doing, once their first party libraries are fixed, Game Pass will be the best deal. Because before when we were Game Pass is the best deal, but I'm like, but they're putting out one first party game a year, and that was what they always promised. So now it's coming to fruition because they have the studios to do so. And Call of Duty is the game that I think for many people I don't know if it was enough to push people over, but it seems like it's, if you need a box and you can afford an Xbox Series or whatever, do it, or Series S now that's $380. So yeah, I think it's a great deal.
That's why the announcement of Microsoft bumping up the prices on the Xbox consoles was so frustrating. Yeah. And I talked on the last episode about like, I think they were looking at the prices and they were seeing that like the price of the Switch 2 and a bunch of other things. And they were like, maybe if we announce it at this time, it'll kind of be just like swept up in the rest of this gamer rage and all that kind of shit. But like, I don't think it really worked the way that they thought it was. And I think PlayStation not announcing any price hikes also kind of like kicked them. Like the fact that no one's talking about, or not enough people are celebrating how good the last few months have been on Game Pass, I think is a testament to like just how much they messed up that message. With the timing or whatever, like the biggest company in the world or one of the biggest companies in the world, eat the friggin' cost and let Game Pass shine for a second. Like, cause right now, if you're looking up Xbox news, they're too expensive. They raise prices. I can't believe they're doing this. And it should be like, Game Pass is on a golden streak like we
Yes.
haven't seen since like 360, when it was just banger after banger after banger. Like that should be the only headline, and it's not, and that's got to be frustrating.
Yep.
Yeah. And then the weird part is, it's not funny, it's ironic, is Xbox sales went up for April, but most of that is attributed to buying consoles before tariffs came in, because now
Yeah.
being more expensive than everybody else kind of sucks for them, because now it's like, well, you got to hope you can, having a streaming pass would be great, and also being on PC, which thankfully did not hit as hard with tariffs, which it could have. So, we'll see, but that's why we're going to be going into some of that with our bonus round. So, guys, play Doom the Dark Ages. It's pretty awesome, but you can play it anywhere you want, but free on Game Pass if you have a subscription. So with that, the bonus round, we're talking about predictions for the Summer Games Fest and the Xbox Showcase, which are coming up next week, the week after. It's like the weekend before. So it's basically about 10 days from now. It's starting off with Summer Games Fest on June 6th. This is Jeff Keighley basically taking over E3, where a lot of third parties and maybe some first parties will show up at this event. And it's typically about 3 hours long, and we expect probably Kojima and what's his name? Daniel Ferris? What his name is? The guy who made It Takes Two and
Joseph?
all those games. Joseph Ferris. Yeah. So he'll probably be on there too. It'll be really long. We'll get a lot of weird ads, and we'll get a lot of, there's no awards, thankfully. So we don't have to worry about people not getting awarded on stage, but we'll have some very weird, awkward moments with some celebrities probably. And then we get Day of the Devs on June 6th, which is always fun. Little show. Then June 8th, we are getting the Xbox Showcase, followed up by the Outer Worlds 2 Direct, which talk about a good year. Outer Worlds 2 coming. That's going to be a big game this fall. I can't remember off the top of my head what else is coming. I know Call of Duty is, and can't think of any other Xbox games that are currently announced for this fall. But if not, pretty good time. So we are doing our predictions, and I said it's going to be the flavors of Summer Game Fest. Why did I say flavors? Because I have my 3 categories and I named them. So what we don't want to see, that's the flavor of bitterness. So bitter. Some people like a bitter flavor, like maybe a good IPA. What we expect to see, which is the mild. It's kind of like, it's not taking a chance, not risky. It's it's Minnesota hot, spicy, which is if your quesadilla, you got your mild flavor. Yep. And then what we want to see, that's the spicy. Basically, this is the nothing's guaranteed, and we're going to will something into existence. So that's our categories. That's what we typically do when we do these. We do the all these different categories. The reason we see what we don't want to see is because these are the things you always feel like are cliched. Why do they even show this? Holy crap, please don't show Just Dance 2026 on stage with the weird dance number. We don't want that. So we'll start with the first prediction, what we don't want to see. And if you got more than one, by all means. Chance, what don't you want to see at any of these Game Awards?
Hate. And that's a really easy kind of a cop-out answer, right? But one of the things that we do on the Nerd Chat when Dan isn't ranting is, at least between Jose and Bacon and I, like, just celebrate games, right? And celebrate all the good stuff that's happening in video games and these communities that we're developing from video games. So it drives me nuts when something like this comes out and the first thing people want to do is shit on all these games and all the hard work all these people do to just put this show on, let alone make these games happen. I am in no way capable of doing anything close to these kinds of things from an artistic or computer programming standpoint. So I want to be like, even the crappiest game ever made, I could be like, yeah, I couldn't do that. So I hope that people see what they want to see, and I hope that the haters kind of stay quiet. Won't happen, but I like to ignore them.
I love that, because I don't know if you guys saw, like, Jeff Grubb was just on a podcast or something or other and said basically the quote that's been going around the headlines, and it's a bit of a baity quote, surprise, surprise, but like Jeff Grubb said, it's going to suck.
Yeah.
Like, specifically talking about Summer's Game Fest. not leaving people with high hopes.
Yeah.
Now, the Beatty part of that is he clarified that he meant the physical show floor for the event rather than what they're going to announce, what's going to be streamed, what the big trailers are, the hidden reveals, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Basically, he was like, I've heard from a lot of like foreign developers who are not coming near the States, understandably.
Yeah.
Like German
Wonder why.
developers that are just straight up like, yeah, we ain't going to the country, man. Like it was just people have been stopped at the border, turned around. We're not taking the chance. We're not losing the money.
Yep.
What's it called? Gamescom is coming up. We're going there instead. See you later. So like a lot of European developers, a lot of basically foreign developers all over the place are skipping this. And Jeff Grubb said that's going to suck. But the way it's been like headlined by all these news places is Summer Game Fest is going to suck. And that being a headline pissed me off today so much when I saw it that it's just like, yeah, we're still a week and a half out of this stuff, and it's already going negative.
Yeah.
Like, no, just celebrate what is there, celebrate what gets announced, and just yeah, I totally agree with you there.
Nice. Thank you.
Yeah. And that's interesting because to that point, so few of us are actually going like in person. It's very limited. So while that may impact,
right? Luke's making it.
Yeah, Luke's going. Joe Moran is going. You know, so I get it. I want it to be awesome for them because they're going, but I totally get it that it's probably going to be less impactful than if we had our friends from from other countries there. And I've heard a lot of news agencies are not even going because they're like, we want to engage with people online rather than being there. There's a Days of Play event, which is actually where you actually get to play a lot of the games, which a lot of people get invited to as well. So I can't speak to anything about the actual like what's on the floor, but what I'm going to see, that's hopefully. And I quite honestly, I haven't heard much of anything yet. So I'm kind of like, I don't even know what to guess will be there, what will be shown, because it seems kind of quiet right now, especially with GTA being out of the window now. It's like, is anything getting pulled in? What are they going to do? Because you don't want to be the guy that, wants to open on, I already know they said, was it Grogu, Mandalorian Grogu might be worried about opening against GTA 6,
We talked about
which is kind of cruise. It's kind of cool and interesting that we would even be talking that, but might be true.
Cultural moment, and
it is.
I'm excited for things that are going to fill that space. We're not talking about the excitement; we're talking about the negative. So, that's
okay. So, let's get some hate, Mark. Let's get some bitterness going. What don't you want to see? And this is, like I said, it doesn't have to even be negative. It just, what don't you want to see that you feel like maybe doesn't add value?
I
or
just
something
said
like
I
that?
don't. I agree on not wanting to see the hate, but I'm going to toss a little bit of hate. Not even hate, just like I don't want to see 30 minutes of like Joseph Ferris or Kojima when every other developer gets 3.
Sure. Yep.
And as much as I respect Jeff Keighley doing this stuff and stepping up when E3 shut down and the Game Awards and all he does for the industry, there's a lot of great stuff. But the guy plays favorites, and I just like glaze over every time. It could be the best looking game, but I'm like, that game got a 30-second trailer, and you're just like bending over backwards to kiss this other dude's ass because he invited you to the studio or you love him personally or whatever.
Or they paid more to be on.
It's just like, shove that somewhere. I don't know, like it's especially when it doesn't really go anywhere and it's just like Keighley kind of like, I get it. I like hosted a few panels this weekend at the con too, and it was like Ty Olson was there and I'm a big Supernatural fan. So it was like a little bit of like, dude, I'm sitting next to Ty Olson on a stage and we're like chatting and having a good time. And it's like kind of hard not to kind of geek out for a second, but like you got to make sure that your crowd's engaged too and not just ask the questions that you want to, like, feed there's other people there. It's not just the you show. So like, yeah, focus on everyone, not just like the prettiest girl at the party.
I like it.
Yeah.
Oh, Mark, I didn't know you were doing that just to make me so happy.
Always,
I've got 2. So you made a good point. I don't want to see Jeff Keighley anymore. Yes, it's his show. I want to see other people. No, it's just weird because I
that's
feel like
real.
there's
just taking mine and just like rip it. It's like, nah, screw
just
Jeff altogether.
I mean, I don't know if Jeff resonates anymore with anybody because like all these things you've said. And I think he needs to step away from the show as a face because everyone says, oh, it's rigged. And like, even though we know Jeff doesn't pick the winners, but I think a lot of people, by him being on there and doing certain things, I feel like he adds to it. It's kind of like your perception is reality, and people perceive that Jeff is manipulating things. He's giving favoritism and all these things. Well, if he really wants to do that, give some new up and comers a way to host.
Yep.
Not just someone on the side talking to people on the awards that weren't good enough to be on the main stage, right? I mean,
Jeff himself could turn that around with one really good show where he actually follows the shit that we're saying. But I mean, if it comes to him handing the show off to someone else, cool. I mean, just run the logistics behind the scenes.
Yeah, I just don't think he brings anything that makes the show better, like himself being on stage, because he oozes, and I get that, but it's time for, I think, him to hand over the reins to, I would say, even real hosts that do this for a living, that are good and polished and can bring fun, maybe a little sense of humor at times, where it's just, I feel like he's kind of one note, and he'll bring in the Muppets, and it feels very awkward when he's talking to the Muppets because he just feels kind of awkward. So let's bring in some real hosts, like when you get the Oscars. When you get good hosts at the Oscars, like Conan O'Brien, so good.
Changes the game. Yeah.
Exactly.
Conan would be a fun host for this.
Yeah, he would.
Exactly. Yeah. The other part I wanted to put on here, and I've said this before, I don't want montages of like, here's 55 minutes on one game, and then it's like 10 seconds of another game, and you're lucky if they even put a title or about it. I hate that. It doesn't give anybody anything except, you see that one game they show for like 2 seconds? What was that? It doesn't add value. It's like, either give them a minute each or 30 minutes each with their name and say, check out the trailer here. So you can, if you saw something you like, you'll know what it is, versus how do you know? So I just don't like the imbalance and like the, of just time. And to your point, like, this much time, but then nothing. And then what we gave you, the little crumbs, because you only gave us $10,000 for like 15 seconds on air, and we don't even know what your game is. To me, that's very frustrating. I
want to put you guys both on the spot right now, just based on this. Maybe considering just, okay, money aside or whatever, because like, could we get Conan to host a video game show or something like that? Who would you like to see step up? Like, who do you think would be an entertaining host who also would be able to talk to some games, like, or talk about some games? Because I think like Conan has done that, like Terrible Gamer or whatever kind of thing before. So I think he'd be entertaining as someone who's touched the industry, knows a little bit enough about it, and can manipulate things that way. But like, is there an entertainer, comedian, someone that you guys know? Like, I'll give you guys some time because I threw this at you. I'm thinking Jason Mantzoukas. Just saw him on Hot Ones Versus with Nick Kroll.
Yeah.
I know he's a gamer. He's hosted things before. He's a comedian. He's an actor. He's over the top as hell. And I think it'd be possibly, he could be entertaining, but he could also be annoying. So I think he's a bit of a wild card. So if you guys have any like better suggestions, I'm open to hearing them. But like, he popped in my head, and like, he's done video games and different weird things before. Like, I think he'd be at least entertaining, something to talk about. That's,
so are we talking the Game Awards, or are we talking like Summer Games Fest?
Either or, however you want to take it. I didn't give this much thought.
I'll have a cop out answer. Conan would be for me.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's
well, he does the gamers. He does the Conan Plays Games segment, which is always hilarious too.
Yeah, like those are so funny. And I'm watching Conan Must Go on.
I need to watch that.
HBO or I can't remember. Apple.
It's on Max, HBO Max,
it's hilarious. His humor is not for everybody, but I think if he was doing something like this, it would be a little more mainstream probably, but also infused with all of his wit and charm. He would be perfect, honestly. So I hate to have to just take your answer, but that's who I would pick. Conan.
That's a great answer. I like it.
Yeah, and by the way, watch on YouTube right now because you've got an official introduction to Ray on
Ray is checking
screen.
things
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
You got a little bit of her face, a little bit of her butt. The full Ray experience. Todd, do you have an answer for?
Well, that's what I was saying, like the Game Awards versus regular. So I think if you're doing Summer Games Fest, you lean into a little more comedy, a little more entertainment,
Yeah.
break things up really good. So I don't I think of, because we've had like Joel McHale, we've had some other comedians do it. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. I think of Ron Funches, who's a very funny. He's got kids. He's into gaming. He's very self-deprecating, but also very engaging. So I like Ron Funches quite a bit. But if we're going the Game Awards now, maybe he could do both. Henry Cavill.
Ooh.
Dude loves to
Ooh.
game. He's very witty, very funny, very charming,
Yeah.
and he loves games. So,
Yeah.
and it seems like right now he's got nothing really coming out yet. He's doing a lot of projects, but I think some people would say, "Hell yeah, I want to talk about games. I want to meet the developers of the games I love." So, he would be great. But yeah,
I mean, one of the projects he's doing a Warhammer game, isn't he? Like,
he's
or
doing a
movie or something
Warhammer,
like that,
and
like,
then
yeah. Oh, he'd be
That's a good one.
fantastic. Yeah.
But yeah, depending on how much you can pay him. But yeah, I mean, you can't also.
That's
Conan
it.
Bryan's
Like
hosting
money's
the
on Magic.
Conan Bryan's hosting the Oscars now, so I don't know if Jeff Keighley
That's what
would
I'm
want to
saying,
give
yeah.
up that money. Yeah. So, so that's where we're at. So really quickly, I realized we're doing both Xbox Showcase. So, for anything to add on, like what you don't want to see at the Xbox Showcase.
I was kind of lumping it all into one here.
Yeah, me
Okay.
too. Yeah, I'm just
Okay.
kind of in general. Broad
So that
strokes.
my montage belongs in both of these. Yes. So coming to Game Pass. Here's 55 games in 20 seconds.
Yep.
Yeah, if it's a game like Xbox specific, yeah, if they do break up or add more Game Pass tiers, I don't want them to overly complicate it. I want them to make things easier rather than more difficult for gamers, especially
Okay.
where they've raised prices. Like, I just think make it as gamer friendly as you can in some crappy economic climates. I'd
piggyback off that saying I don't want to see anything about it because I the whole point of these is to showcase games and celebrate games, right? And that's what I was going back to with the I don't want to see hate. I don't want to see Jeff Keighley. I don't want to see people that aren't making these games and showing off.
No execs, please. No executives.
I want to see games and I want to see the people that made them. If that's what they want to do and they feel like that's what's going to sell their product more. Even if they were going to say, hey, coming soon to Game Pass, a new tier that is, unless it's going to be free or like $5 for Ultimate, I don't want to see it. I don't care. I'm buying Game Pass no matter what. I've been stacked for like 3 years now. That's not what Showcase is about to me.
All I want to hear is these are the games that are Game Pass day one. And if they say that, great, awesome. Moving on. Yep. Okay. What do we expect to see? So we're going to go in different order. So I kind of did the snake. So what do we expect to see? So for myself at Summer Games Fest, we're going to get a lot of Borderlands 4. We're going to get a lot of Call of Duty. We are going to get... let's see, what else are we going to get? That's the hard part because I don't know if anything's in stone that I think we're going to get, to be honest, because of the release schedule right now. It's pretty lean in the back end. So I guess what we'll expect to see too is I'm expecting we're going to see more remakes that are announced or remasters. Like we just got that Space Marine 1 remaster that's coming out, going to be a day in, day out on Game Pass. So I expect to see a lot of those to fill the gaps because right now it feels like we're waiting for some big games to come out, but until they do, kind of like Oblivion dropped out of the blue, I feel like there's going to be some games dropped that are maybe hard to play or they don't play as well as they used to and coming to this gen of consoles. So especially with Switch 2 coming, there's going to be a lot of games that are coming out for that. And it's like, well, since it's prettied up for Switch 2, here's the better version on modern day consoles too and PC. So yes, this is so much fun, guys. Sorry, we're just seeing a cattail. It's so much fun. I love it. My cat would be doing the same thing, but would crawl up on my lap.
Yeah.
Aw, keyboards are always comfy, is what I've learned.
Yeah, I have my
Yes.
laptop kind of like raised and
Yeah.
sideways, so she can't do that. But she is finding a comfy spot directly in front of me. Because usually at this time of night, um, we've only had this cat for like a little over a week. So usually this time of night, we're kind of like cuddled up together on the couch.
Oh
And
yeah.
she's like, "Dude, what are you doing?" And she's going
Aw,
right into
oh,
cuddle
that's
mode.
so cute. Aw, that's so wonderful. Yeah, watch the YouTube. Once again, you're only seeing this on YouTube. I can only say it's so cute and make you think of what I'm saying is cute.
Or just pretend he's
Except for
talking about
Chance.
me. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said. Okay, so Mark, what do you expect to see?
I expect to see Ninja Gaiden.
Okay.
Ninja Gaiden 4 still scheduled for release this year.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's Game Pass. Yeah.
I also expect to see some more at some point about Project 007. It was teased at the Switch 2 showcase, which 2 launches the same week that
And they
Summer
tease it on the Switch 2 thing too, right?
and they can
Yeah.
show it off for everything. And it's one of those things that they're like, we teased this a few weeks ago. Switch 2 just came out. Let's talk about Project 007. So I expect to see that. I expect to see, I'm hoping we see more about Star Wars Zero Company. Maybe I'll save that for the next thing. I don't know. Because I really don't know that one's up in the air. See, a lot of this is like I want to see stuff,
What
right?
you
Like
want?
I was gonna just say like Wolverine, but I feel like Sony's
Mm.
gonna save that as a state of play, or it's not gonna happen, right? I'll throw one into this category, especially for Summer's Game Fest. I'm gonna say Silk Song is making an appearance.
Oh,
That's what I expect.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Again,
because remember when
Switch 2 hype.
Well, remember when Xbox said it's going to be on Game Pass day and date,
Yep.
and so that could be Xbox coming back to say, "Hey, remember when you said it was coming out in 12 months, guys? We want to show it. It's now going to be coming, and here's the Xbox reveal trailer."
Yeah, in that case, I expected to make multiple appearances. So you get the general trailer at Summer Game Fest. You get the, hey, this is going to be on Switch 2. This is going to be everywhere. This is going to be this. And then Microsoft follows it up a couple of days later with like, hey, did you like that a couple of days ago? P.S. It's still coming to Game Pass day one. We're the place to play it, suckers. So yeah, I could see that making multiple appearances. That would be pretty neat for after waiting so long.
Chance, what do you expect to see?
I loved the Outer Worlds, and I am very excited to see a deep dive into the Outer Worlds too. I think if you happened to miss that game, but you like anything else that Obsidian does, then you owe it to yourself to go play that game, especially considering how well Avowed did with some of their like combat upgrades and stuff. I'm hoping to see the same kind of thing. I really just expect to walk away from there being even more excited than I already am about the Outer Worlds. And obviously it's easy to say that because they are going to get their own direct here. But I think that's kind of the point, right? What we expect to see. But I expect that I'm going to be excited about it. So that'll be cool.
I keep forgetting we have that extra event following,
Yeah.
kind of like we got with Starfield. Although wasn't Starfield like delayed after that though? I can't remember. Was it?
Gosh, I don't remember if it was before or after.
So,
and I
hopefully
think
I was surprised when this game wasn't going to be announced for this fall. I really did not expect it to happen, especially with the Vow dropping this year.
Yep. So I'm looking forward to it, and I'm sure it'll be a day one play for me. And then this is like borderline spicy instead of just mild, but I want to see more Xbox handheld. Like I said, I am a ROG Ally day one adopter, and I'm not ready to give it up by any means. But if the Xbox handheld from Asus is going to be a step up and similar in price, I'm all about it, and I'm going to be right in line. I should be getting that first thing, and I think it's time, right? We've seen some leaks and some things that weren't official, like some definitely like alpha build stuff. I'm ready to see the real thing.
Do you guys expect to see that, the Xbox Oculus crossover, or both? What would you put money on?
Handheld.
I'd rather see the handheld. That's a personal thing, and So yeah, I'll just make that my answer. I'd rather see that.
All right. Todd, you're
I
feeling the
don't
same
own a
way, though.
VR.
I think it's a handheld. I feel like VR is in a very weird space right now. So I would like to see more information about. Well, we did get a lot. We've gotten a lot of information about Xbox and VR partnership, and I tried VR with Game Pass, so maybe they build upon it. But maybe that's where the streaming announcement comes in, Mark, with a new tier cloud, and it's you don't even need a console anymore. You just stream.
I
Although
genuinely
it
think we
is,
could see
it
both.
is, yeah. But it's like giving you an option to stream. Maybe it's a subscription tied to VR only and cloud only. Like, so it's not like Game Pass Ultimate, right?
Yeah.
That could work well because that's what you're doing anyways, right? It's like, well, I have this. I don't want to buy a box. I don't have a PC that's strong enough to play it. So just give me what I want, and then go from there. Yeah.
100%.
Can I get a mulligan on mine?
Sure, of course.
Okay, so I expect to see a new series controller, so a new Elite, because it's been a long time, still missing some buttons, and I think they've had so many complaints about quality and things like that, and some of the new design elements they've got. I think it's time, since they're not bringing out hardware like for a new console, they may have the thing, but I think
Todd,
controller.
that'd be great. That would be great. Mark, what do you play on? On your Xbox, what kind of controller are you using?
Just a standard Xbox controller. I have a couple of different ones. The one that came with the system. I've bought a few. I made one in the Xbox Design Lab, but just standard controller. I don't have like the, anything fancier than that.
Yeah. We talk a lot about the controllers and the Elite 2.
Yes, you do.
How outdated the Elite 2 is.
Yeah.
Still probably my favorite controller, but it needs some updates. The fact it doesn't have a share button is still
that's it, right? Like I've eyed them a few times. I've designed them in Design Lab. I look at them every time they go on sale anywhere. I'm tempted to pull the trigger, but there's a few things. Like I love taking little clips of cool moments very quickly and easily with that share button. And it's something that I never thought I would care about a few years ago when they first started saying like, oh, you can share clips. It's a clip button. It's like, oh, great. That's going to be used by streamers. It's like the Switch 2 and the chat button. It's like, oh, good. A button I have to pay to use. Like, shut up, throw that away. But it's stopped me from buying an Elite controller. So it's like, damn, how you okay?
Yep.
You got me there. Yeah,
that's a great one, Todd.
Weird.
Yep. I think with all the new options you have in the Design Lab too, I mean, it just makes sense that they really go whole hog and do some really cool stuff. So, all right. We get into what we want to see. These are spicy. These are the hopes and dreams, not necessarily reality. They'll make you sad if they didn't happen, and you'll complain, why didn't you show this? And they said, we never promised it. And you're like, but I dreamed it. So Chance.
So going back 2 years now, I want to say, I have been begging to see Injustice 3 at one of these, and I so badly want it to happen. And there was, I don't know if either of you saw, so Multiverse Susie is someone who's apparently pretty good at nailing some of these leaks down. Had these posts that said multiverses shutting down as an injustice, then doing it all again as another injustice, leaving me without any leaks is yet again another injustice. So for those of you not watching, I'm holding up the number 3. I counted injustice there 3 times. It's time. That could just be wishful thinking by Multiverse Susie. I sure as heck hope it's not, because Injustice 2 is probably for me the best fighting game ever made. And I know that's controversial probably because it's not so classic, but it is so good. And
the comics are great. The fact they made so many good comics based on the storyline too.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
The customization was incredible. All of it. You got the Ninja Turtles at the end. Like, it doesn't get better than that.
Cheaper than other certain fighting games with turtles.
Yes. So we'll see. I'm not like gonna hold my breath, but man, if we can finally get that, I'm smitten.
I heard NetherRealms is I've heard they're done with Mortal Kombat 1 is the name, which I enjoyed, but I think WB needs some wins, and the best way they could do is get a new game out there and price it accordingly. And Injustice is a huge one to use, especially with Superman and all the things that are going on with WB right now.
God, they can't not do it right now. And if they paid me half a penny a day, I'd be the most cheapest, best person on their marketing team, I think, to be like, yeah, this is all we need to do, people. Just put this out and let the billions roll in.
I didn't even think about WB having anything to show. I hope they will eventually have some new things to show. But yeah. All right, Mark, what do you want to see? Unless you have anything else, Chance.
That's taking 100% of my spicy take.
Okay.
I love that.
The hot ones. This is your top hot ones right now. Yeah.
I want to scream Wave Race just to be a jackass, but I'm not going to do
You're
that.
going to get it, Mark, on what is the GameCube Wave Race? You're getting that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Blue
Storm
Blue Storm. Yeah. I always say Blue Steel because Zoolander. Yep. That's funny. I mentioned Wolverine as like, but I feel like Sony's going to save that for a state of play, not roll it out here. It could be fun to see a little teaser trailer and have that as Sony announcing a state of play. Tune in June 15th or something like that for like a full gameplay reveal at Sony's state of play or something along those lines. Perfect Dark. I would love to see more of some gameplay, some real, solid stuff there. Again, just to continue that Xbox absolutely crushing it kind of thing. What else do I really want? I mentioned Star Wars Zero Company, and that's another one that I'm like, can they show off more? Will they show off more? We'll see. But I think, what are you doing? Hi, what's up?
She wants to make a pick.
Jesse, what are you thinking? Oh, Cat Quest 4 official
collateral damage
take for for Ray.
Will there be any Xbox exclusives like Gears of War that was recently announced to go to PlayStation? Will there be one of those drops? And if so, which would you pick?
Another an Xbox game going to PlayStation. Ooh, man, that's, you know what? Not to PlayStation. I'm going to say a few Xbox games going to Switch 2.
Ooh, yeah, good timing.
Including Gears and Sea of Thieves.
Do they do that at their show or do they do it at the Nintendo show?
They do that at the Xbox show because they want to control the message.
Yeah, got it. And that look good that they're showing off to the Switch crowd. Maybe I don't know if that makes I don't think the Xbox fans are mad anymore about it. They're just like,
I never have been. I've always been excited about it. I'm like, more people playing great games. Hell yes.
Yeah, and maybe they could not do it at the Xbox show. Maybe they do that for Summer Game Fest and say we'll have more announcements. But for right now, Switch 2 fans are going to get Sea of Thieves
that'd be a no-brainer.
This other game or whatever. But especially those games that they want the online crowd to be as large as possible. So that's when you announce Switch 2 crossplay across Xbox, PlayStation, Switch. Everyone's going to be jumping into the 7 Seas, play with your crew, enjoy this and that and whatever. And we've got Gears working on it too. So you're going to be able to team up with your friends across multiple consoles and play this. And maybe that is a Game Fest kind of thing. I could see that, because they don't want to promote other things during the Xbox showcase, but maybe during the showcase they can have more gameplay and sneakily say like, hey, these guys are playing on PC and Switch 2 and, but we're playing it on an Xbox during the showcase to kind of show off that like everyone's going to be playing this damn game. Yep. It's not just the people that bought a Series X.
Yeah. I mean, I will say a lot of third parties have been very quiet about what is coming out on Switch 2 beyond what was shown at the show. So I'm expecting we're going to see a lot of things announced for Switch 2 there now because the Switch will have been out like 4 days. So it's like, it's real and it's now coming. We can tell you now. We don't have to worry about anybody killing us. Same thing with, Xbox showing up and saying, it's Switch 2. We're all in,
Yeah.
baby, because I think
And-
that's where it's going to shine. Yeah.
And beforehand, like before the launch, like the launch stuff that Nintendo did, of course Mario Kart World and Donkey Kong are going to take center stage, and everything else is going to get a little bit looked over, and including, they need a couple of those showcases, but are you going to go up against handheld Cyberpunk? Are you going to go up against this? And I think a lot of developers are like, nah, you know what? You already got Cyberpunk in this thing. I'm stepping away. You already got this. I'm stepping away.
Yeah.
We'll do it ourselves. And this is the time to do it. So
Yep.
I think past that launch excitement, past that buildup, past the like flurry of information of like us too, like this is a great time for developers to roll out a very strategic message of like, hey, you lucked in your pre-order. You just got this new thing in your hands. Here's some fun for it. Like this is what you want.
Yeah, because there's not much announced past like launch. Because right now we know we're getting Donkey Kong in July, but I don't know about third party. We don't know. A lot of indie games haven't been announced for it. I think that's, and then the eShop, obviously. It's going to be interesting how the eShop works, where it'll gate like Switch 1. So like the Switch 1 won't be able to see what's on Switch 2, or maybe they allow it, but like, you can't buy this. It'll be really interesting to see what they show there. So for mine, I'm going to wrap this up, unless anybody else any mulligans after I'm done, which is perfectly fine. I'm going big on Capcom. What I want to see. I want to see Onimusha, the new game, get a really cool trailer and then drops this fall. Because guess what's not there? GTA 6. Yeah. So we're going to get an Onimusha, Onimusha game, which I'm like, hey, it's happening. And then I'm following up with that. We're getting the new Resident Evil 9, or maybe it's Code Veronica, getting announced, because they have been very quiet. And it seems like forever since 4 dropped. So I think what I want is probably Resident Evil 9, because it seems like that's where they take chances and they do really cool things. They've done first person. I don't know if they'll stick with first person going forward, but I think it's going to be very exciting, because it's probably my favorite franchise now. I mean, because they keep existing. All my other franchises, they stopped making games. So like Mass Effect, sorry, when are you going to come back? I don't know. But Resident Evil 9, or maybe get Code Veronica or Zero. I've heard rumors about that, where they've kind of not done anything with those games and they had problems. I heard also 5 might be coming, which I enjoyed, but co-op and had problems. 6, that game needs an overhaul. Unless it gets fixed, it's not very good. So that's what I'm expecting from Capcom to come strong with some new games. Obviously, with Switch 2, that will mean more places to put their games. Which and right now they've had a lot of really bad like stream only games on Switch, which sucks. So I could also see a Switch like versions of Switch 2 versions of those Resident Evil 7, 8, whatever. So I'm expecting that. And then my last call out, what I want to see. These are all what I want to see, but really this one, I want Banjo-Kazooie to come back by the ukulele team to say, because those are folks who made Banjo. So bring them back. Xbox loves you. They will bring you in because they know they don't want to put their core teams on some of these old franchises. So why not? And it's worked really well. Mm-hmm. Like Oblivion was redone by a different team with some oversight. So do the Nintendo thing. Bring in developers and to be executive producers on those games, but let them cook and give them the Xbox seal approval. So we're going to call it Banjo-Kazooie. I don't know. What would you even call it? What would you guys call the next Banjo game?
Banjo-Kazooie.
Nuts and bolts. Banjo-Kazooie?
Banjo-Kazooie.
The new one.
Kazooie. Okay. I like that.
Love it. Yeah. I love that. I'm not thinking of anything better than that, so we're going with yours.
Perfect. Okay. Well, I hope everybody's excited about these shows coming up. It's going to be a good weekend. We start on Friday and Sunday, and then we're rumored to get a state of play in June. And then I'm also hearing potentially Switch will have something, or Nintendo will, because quite honestly, they've got to start talking about their fall and their releases. We got a Pokemon game, so I think they'll have something too to tell you what's coming out this fall and beyond on Switch 2. So we'll see how that goes. So thank you, Chance, for being on the show after some hijinks with Zencaster. We survived. We got a cat appearance. So much fun. And a little bit of spite out of Mark. So I think we nailed all of the quadrants.
Yeah, thanks for
So
having me. I really appreciate it. This is great.
Yeah.
yeah, it's so great. I think we've done the full collection of all of the Nerd Chat hosts, so very cool. And then Chance, you and I will be doing probably a preseason show for Waiver Wire Wizards. So we're all in.
Yeah.
Mark, you can come in and talk about the was it Calgary Stampede or whatever the team is called, or I don't know. Do you got a Canadian football team over there?
No.
No? Okay. Well, that's okay. Well, we'll talk about that later. But with that, Chance, tell people where they can find you.
I am the worst on the socials of all of our friends on the Nerd Chat, but you can definitely find me on the Nerd Chat. We record live Thursdays, 7:30 Mountain Time, and that has truly helped. That show has helped me understand what gaming really can be, and that this incredible community of just kind and thoughtful humans that I've met through this whole thing. So we try to, like I said, try to keep it positive until Daniel takes over usually. And I loved all the banter that we have back and forth. We're on Blue Sky and all the different places. I actually run our Blue Sky, which is scary because I don't do socials very great, but we are getting close to our 500 subscribers that we have to have. As soon as that happens, Daniel, Eric, and I want to say Ains, right? All three have to eat 8 junior bacon cheeseburgers live on the show. There will be paramedics on standby.
Junior bacon cheeseburgers? I thought they were like
JBC's.
Oh,
Yep. From Wendy's. So it's and I think your Canadian brethren has to put maple syrup on his, Mark, if I remember right. I think Eric said something about that.
That makes sense.
Which it's just I love a JBC, but 8 of them, I don't think so. So
oh my God. Do they have Wendy's in Canada?
Oh yeah, I love Wendy's.
Okay. Okay, cool. Very, very cool. I used to work at Wendy's. I used to run the grill, and then I would make the chili.
Nice.
Excellent.
Fun fact.
know.
Very
Really
cool,
nacho.
Chance. Oh, really? All right. Well, Mark, where can people find you?
You can find me mostly on Instagram, Threads at Blue Sky at Canardian_Jedi, except Blue Sky is a dot instead of an underscore, I believe. And as always, hanging out in the Secret Friends Unite Discord.
Perfection. You can follow me on Blue Sky at Todd Oxtra, at Secret Friends Unite, probably dots, and then at on Threads, Instagram, Facebook. You can follow me at Toxtra, at Secret Friends Unite, probably no dots. And then just check out our Discord, check out our YouTube channel. Love it if you guys leave us a review. We would really love it on either that or on iTunes, or just leave a comment on our YouTube channel. We really appreciate that. And then join our Discord if you want to get into this and leave questions for us. So that is it. Thank you all for joining, and remember, folks, it's always better to play together.
See you online. Is that no?
Finish the fight. This podcast is part of the Secret Friends Unite podcasting network, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and podcast services around the galaxy, as well as video on our YouTube channel. You can support Secret Friends Unite by becoming a Patreon member, get bonus programs and more over at patreon.com/secretfriendsunite. Join our Discord community for even more discussions on all things geek. For all the latest updates on Secret Friends Unite, make sure to follow us on Threads at secret.friends.unite and visit secretfriendsunite.com. Find our merchandise at TeePublic and Redbubble. Thanks for listening, and may the Force live long and prosper.